Hey folks, as you can hear, I'm on the road taking care of some business, and I figured I would pop out a black light. I think that's what I'll call these. Basically, just a little blurb, a little bloggy video kind of thing. Something short and sweet, something that is a little bit more interesting, but doesn't really take all the 16-minute diatribes you've gotten from me over the past couple of months. So I'm going to go right into it. These are 4 things that I hear from theists that don't really bother me nearly as much as most atheists I see on YouTube. The first one is, where do you get your morals? Now, I don't presume that they mean you can't be moral without God. Some might think that, but I have always interpreted that question to be, well, I think that I get my morals from a holy book. I have felt that people can be able to get their ideas best transmitted through the laws of the land. And the law of the land, I think, would fit really nicely with the religious laws. So if we don't use that, then upon what do we base morality? Now, for a religious person, that's a completely valid question. I know that as an atheist, you think about that and you say, well, I've already learned that that's BS. I don't need to do that. But they haven't been introspective enough to figure that out. So my answer to that would be, well, regardless of whether you have a religion or not, you base your morality on the biology that's running through you, the experiences that are formative in your life. You get them from the examples demonstrated through adolescence, and you get them from the agency that you have as an adult. If they don't agree with what it means to be a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, somebody who believes in the various Hindu or Vedic scripts, that kind of thing. If it doesn't agree with those things, people will simply abandon those parts of the religion or the dogma that they don't see to be useful. That's what we do. That's what we do in politics. As much as people want to say that they are left-wing and right-wing, honestly, nobody really is. We call each other that out of convenience, but then we also use those labels, well, avoiding self-reflection. People avoid self-reflection when it comes to religion, and they avoid it when it comes to politics, because it's easier that way. They don't realize that their ideas about what it means to be a Democrat or a Republican don't always agree with what is considered to be liberal or conservative. So it's basically just a way for people to avoid feeling that they're letting down some group or have fallen off the wagon in some way. It's basically just a way to feel like you're not in the out crowd. But you're doing the same thing. You're still learning the things that make sense to you. So that's what I say. But I don't get upset about it because I get that people don't know that they're doing those things, whether it's religion, politics, things that the family say that you're supposed to do, ideas that a certain cultural group might think are absolutely resolute and probably aren't. We do that all the time as people, because sometimes being self-reflecting is dangerous. It can lead to people not liking what you have to say and rejecting you as a person. That leads me to the second thing. Why are you taking my joy? Most atheists would say, and I would say this rightly if I felt that this was the interpretation I was supposed to have, most would say, I'm not taking your faith away. You can do whatever you want. It's a free country. You can believe whatever you want. All I'm saying is, I don't believe. That's all I'm saying. Well, to some theists, is that all you're saying? Listen, I know that, facts don't care about your feelings, but your feelings don't care about your facts either. You're going to feel certain things, and it's going to be completely based upon whether or not your desires, not feelings, but your desires, lead you to challenging your facts. So why are you taking away my joy? Well, I'm not, but I get why you would think that I am. You think that I'm here to spoil a party because you see a lot of atheists running around on YouTube having a good old time making theists feel bad about what they think and feel, even parts that aren't really that harmful. Ultimately, it will lead you to having some very weird thoughts about reality, that's for sure. But a lot of folks have some gree-grees and some superstitions, and a lot of folks end up just thinking if I just wear this jersey, my sports team will win. But we don't get really angry about that. We just say, well, that's what we do. So I think that's a valid question. Why am I trying to take away this person's security blanket, their religious pacifier that just keeps things all nice and tidy? It's because I want to remove the harmful things from you. I want your life to be better. The reason why I don't want certain people to continue having certain thoughts isn't because I don't want those people to lose their comfort while I keep my own possible irrational ideas and emotions that may flare up in ways that make me human. Some people are like that. Third, isn't evolution just a theory? Evolution is a theory. Yes, it is one of the theories. It is also one of the laws. It is one of the facts. It is one of the lots of things. But it doesn't matter. Even if somehow a rock from some distant solar system carried some DNA and sprinkled it all over the planet Earth in some meteor shower or something, and tardigrades flew all over the place, and then some aliens came down and sprinkled some artificial intelligence into the mix and some nanotechnology, and that's how we get our antibodies, whatever, okay? Even if that were the case, it still doesn't mean God did it, right? So why are you asking? I'm not even angry at the isn't evolution just a theory. Because even if they're being dishonest about it, and some people aren't, some people are just ignorant about the fact that theory, still to this day, ignorant about the fact that theory doesn't mean what they think it means. But even if they're being dishonest, I can point out, look, you think that evolution is the religion, and you're just saying, oh, it's just a theory. Therefore, all I have to do is say that and I can poke a hole in it. Well, you do know that that means you've been lied to, right? By many people, right? Come on. And that's not my fault. It's kind of not their fault. Fourth, if there's nothing after death, what's the point? A lot of atheists I notice will say things like, well, you think that we can't possibly have a purpose to life. I mean, isn't that like saying, what's the point of having a meal just because it ends? And I'm thinking that is true, but that's only part of the question. Maybe they're not asking, hey, shouldn't you just kill yourself because there's no point to life? Maybe they're just saying, I don't know what to do with a finite life. A life where I don't have enough time. That's a valid thing to say. I don't know what the point is. I don't know what the point of living is if there's nothing after death. I don't know what the point is of living if there is something after death. It just means that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, in more ways than one. But that doesn't make the tunnel meaningful. That just makes you run after a light. Who's to say that with all the gods all over the place, that you could even come up with a way to live? So I don't mind when people ask these things because it tells me something about them. And I know that I'm not going to have answers that satisfy them because an entire internet's worth of ideas, several Library of Congresses compiled into my phone, can't tell them the kinds of things that can make them stop thinking that a donkey and a snake can talk. There are going to be people who think this forever. That's it. And that's all right. Honestly, that's okay. It's not our job to change them. It's just our job to share. That's all. Peace, guys.